In the heart of an ancient African village, nestled among baobab trees that whispered secrets to the wind, lived a woman named Adama. Her heart ached with a single profound desire to hold a child of her own. Years had passed since her marriage to the kind-hearted Shaikh, but their home remained quiet, untouched by the laughter of children. The whispers of the villagers, though sometimes met with sympathy, felt like sharp stones against her skin. Adama tried everything. She prayed at the river goddess's shrine. She offered sacrifices at the village square, and she drank bitter herbs prepared by the elders, but her womb remained stubbornly barren. One evening, as the sun bled orange and purple across the sky, a friend whispered a name to her in hushed tones, Omenka. He was a native doctor who lived deep in the forbidden forest, a man whose powers were said to be as dark as they were potent. Desperation, a relentless tide, pulled Adama toward this dangerous shore. She told Shaikh she was visiting her ailing aunt in a neighboring village, a lie that tasted like ash in her mouth. Under the sliver of a crescent moon, she journeyed into the forest, her every footstep echoing the frantic beat of her heart. Omenka's hut was a strange sight, adorned with bones and feathers that rattled in the breeze. He was an old man with eyes that seemed to hold the wisdom of 1,000 lifetimes, and a darkness that chilled Adama to her core. He listened to her plea, his face an unreadable mask. "A child you want," he rasped, his voice like dry leaves skittering across the ground. "But the spirits demand a steep price. Are you willing to pay it?" In her desperation, Adama nodded. "Anything," she breathed. The price was unthinkable. Omenka declared that the only way to conceive was through a ritual that bound her to him, a union under the eye of the dark spirits he served. He told her she must spend a night in his hut. A wave of revulsion and fear washed over Adama. This was a betrayal of her husband, her vows, and everything she held sacred. But then the image of a child's face, a face she had painted in her dreams 1,000 times, rose before her. The longing was so powerful, it eclipsed her fear, her morals, her very self. She agreed. What happened in that hut was shrouded in shadow and shame, a secret she vowed to carry to her grave. Omenka gave her a small gourd filled with a murky potion. "Drink this when the next full moon rises," he instructed, "and you will have your child. But remember, this child will not be yours alone. A part of them will always belong to the forest." Adama fled from the hut, clutching the gourd, not fully understanding his ominous words. She felt tainted, broken, but a sliver of hope burned within her. She returned to her village and, as instructed, drank the potion under the full moon's glow. Miraculously, within weeks, Adama knew she was with child. Shaikh was overjoyed, and the entire village celebrated. The 9 months that followed were a blur of joy and gnawing anxiety for Adama. She loved the feeling of the life growing inside her, but Omenka's words haunted her dreams. The day she gave birth was a day of celebration, but it was also a day of terror. She delivered not one child, but 2, a boy and a girl. They were beautiful, perfect in every way, except for their eyes. Their eyes were not the warm brown of their people, but a startling, unnatural shade of green, the color of moss in the deepest, darkest part of the forest. The villagers murmured, but Shaikh, in his love and innocence, dismissed it as a strange quirk of nature. He named the boy Namdi and the girl Nika. As the twins grew, their strangeness became more apparent. They were silent children who rarely cried or laughed. They preferred the company of the shadows to the warmth of the sun. While other children played with toys and ran in the fields, Namdi and Nika would sit for hours staring into the distance, their green eyes seeming to watch things no one else could see. They had a peculiar connection to the forest. Wild animals, usually shy of humans, would approach them without fear. Birds would land on their shoulders, and snakes would slither harmlessly past their feet. Adama's love for her children was fierce, but it was tangled with a profound, ever-present fear. She saw Omeka's shadow in their unusual habits, heard his raspy voice in their unsettling silence. One day, when the twins were about 5 years old, a strange sickness swept through the village. Children fell ill with a fever that no herbalist could cure. Panic spread like wildfire. One of the village elders, a woman known for her sharp eyes and even sharper tongue, pointed a trembling finger at Adama's twins. "It is them," she cried. "They are not natural. Their forest eyes have brought a curse upon us." The villagers, gripped by fear, turned on Adama and her children. Chaik stood before his family, a shield against the angry mob, but their fear was stronger than his reason. That night, Adama woke to the smell of smoke. The villagers had surrounded their hut, torches held high, their faces twisted with rage. "Give us the cursed children," they chanted. Suddenly a low growl echoed from the edge of the village, a sound that seemed to shake the very earth. From the darkness of the forest, eyes began to glow. Dozens of them. Leopards, hyenas, and other creatures of the night emerged, not with aggression, but with a silent, menacing presence. They formed a protective circle around Adama's hut. The villagers, terrified, dropped their torches and fled. In the eerie silence that followed, Namdi and Neka walked out of the hut. They were no longer silent, withdrawn children. Their green eyes blazed with an ancient power. They looked at their mother, and for the first time Adama saw not a vacant stare, but a deep, sorrowful understanding. "It is time, mother," Namdi said, his voice a chorus of rustling leaves. "The forest calls for us," Nika added, her voice like the whisper of the wind. They turned and walked toward the forest, the wild animals parting to let them pass. Adama screamed their names, her heart shattering into a million pieces. She tried to run after them, but an invisible barrier held her back. She could only watch as her children, the children she had sacrificed everything for, were swallowed by the darkness of the forbidden forest, reclaimed by the spirits to whom they truly belonged. Adama was left alone with her loving husband, Chaik, in a home that was once again silent, a chilling monument to a desperate choice and a price too terrible to bear. Her desire for a child had been fulfilled, but in the most heartbreaking way imaginable. She had given birth only to lose her children to the very darkness from which they came. The village was saved, but Adama's world was destroyed forever. And sometimes on a quiet night, the villagers say you can still hear a woman's weeping mixed with the sounds of the forest, a haunting reminder of the bargain she made. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more tales from around the world. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. See you next time.